Now on 7 News at 4, NCAA March Madness is underway in Greenville at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. We have live team coverage of all the action. Plus, a new bill is making its way through the South Carolina State House with a promise for supporters to protect victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. And the FAA is investigating after a plane flipped during an emergency landing in Greenville County. What we know so far. Thanks so much for joining us on 7 News at 4. I'm Kelsey O'Donnell in for Amy and Taylor this evening. March Madness has arrived in the upstate. Fans are heading to Greenville to watch the NCAA tournament. We have live team coverage this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson is keeping an eye on the weather. Taylor Farmer has more on the atmosphere around the arena. We begin first with our very own 7 News Sports Director Pete Yanity with more on the tournament itself. Hey, Pete.
Yeah, Kelsey, the games are underway. The first of 4 that'll be played here in the round of 16 is in the third quarter. Going on inside right through that tunnel. Miami's up big in quarter number 3 against Villanova. The winner of that game advances to play the winner of our second game today, LSU and Utah. That's Greenville Regional 1. Of course, Greenville Regional 2 among the 4 teams, the South Carolina Gamecocks, the prohibited favorite to win a second straight national title. Let's show you what's going on this morning here in the Well as the teams that play the Friday, Sunday games like South Carolina, or rather the Saturday, Monday games like South Carolina, got out on the court in practice, and Dawn Staley getting her team through their paces as they get reacclimated to a building they've played a lot of games in over the years with their many trips here for the SEC tournament. And of course, it was a few weeks ago that USC won another SEC championship. Now, when you look at the numbers for this Gamecocks team, the 40-game winning streak, 34-0 record, they do plenty offensively, better than 80 points a game, and they outscore teams by 30 points a game. That's staggering. But you dig even further and you see a rebounding margin that's off the charts, nearly 24 per game, and they block 9 shots per game. And the head coach talking to those 2 points and putting some perspective as to what they've meant to her team's success.
The one thing that people don't often talk about is how incredibly smart our players are. They're highly intelligent. They're students of the game. They understand angles. They're super competitive. Because you can't do the things that we're doing without having a really good understanding of what's good about teams and try to take those things away, to cut that angle off and block a shot. From a rebounding standpoint, rebounding is, it's not a skill, it's a decision.
Yeah, rebounding travels, so does defense, and those are strengths for a USC team that earlier this season knocked off the UCLA ball club. They'll play Saturday at 2 here in this building. Struggled for a while in that game. They were +6 in rebound margin. UCLA is a big physical team, just like South Carolina. You've got to think that could be a factor. Who wins the glass in Saturday's games? We come back out live. Action continues in Greenville 1. Of course, Greenville 2 begins tomorrow with Notre Dame and Maryland at 11 a.m. That's followed by South Carolina going at it against the UCLA Bruins for a second time this year at 2 p.m. here in the Well. For now, 7 News Sports is live in Greenville. Kelsey.
Lots of action all weekend long. Thank you, Pete. We head back out now to Taylor Farmer. She's outside of the Bon Secours Wellness Arena and had a chance to catch up with some of the fans. Taylor?
Hey, Kelsey, we've been talking to fans all day. Today's the first day of the tournament, of course. The first game was Miami and Villanova. That tipped off at 2:30. It's still underway, but after this game, it will be LSU and Utah, and tons of fans are here. We were told yesterday that over 50,000 fans are expected to be in attendance over the next 4 days, and thousands and thousands were filling into the arena today. When we were inside at halftime, you could barely walk through the concourse. There's so many people. We were also in front of the other side of the arena where they have places you can take pictures and food courts and buying T-shirts and all types of things. People saying they love that the games are here in Greenville, such a nice arena. So many fans here today traveling from near and far.
Go Tigers! I'm from Delaware, Middletown, Delaware, and I drove 9 hours to get here.
I actually drove 674 miles from Sarasota, Florida, last night to come up here.
Some fans say they haven't missed a game. They always travel to watch their team play and cheer on their favorite players, especially when it's their children. Parents of Miami's Cavender twins say watching their daughters has been special.
It's just awesome to see them finally get to March Madness. It's what they've dreamed about since they were little. So just to have them here, we couldn't be happier.
Two teams will have the chance to advance to the Final Four. Many fans are still filling into the arena right now. Lots have been taking pictures with the basketball behind us, excited for what's to come. Live in Greenville, Taylor Farmer, 7 News.
Taylor, thank you. Let's head over now to 7 News Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson, who's also outside with a look at this beautiful weather we're having outside today. Christy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Kelsey, it's such a great day to be outside. It is the warmest day of the year so far. Bright sunshine, a bit of a breeze. Kind of quiet here at the Fan Fest for now. Of course, that's going to change. We've got the game going on right inside the well with Villanova and Miami. And of course, when that game is over, everyone's going to file out here. You got food trucks, all kinds of hangout space, even a kids fun zone that we're going to check out in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look at what's going on weather-wise. You know, it's been nice and quiet today. It's going to stay that way through the evening, so good news for the fans that maybe are strolling through downtown Greenville this evening. You can see the temperatures are quite warm. We're in the 70s and 80s. In fact, mainly 80s across the upstate right now. 82 in Greenville, 82 in Spartanburg, some 70s in the mountains this afternoon. Really feeling like spring. Across the southeast, the weather's quiet for now, but we are tracking a system out west that's going to increase the rain chances for us going into Saturday morning. So the weather is going to be changing overnight. 60s and 70s through 9 p.m. Looks like 50s and 60s going into tomorrow morning. So a really warm start to the day. And of course, we'll keep track of those rain chances too. No rain out here for now. Everything's nice and sunny, dry and warm right outside the well in downtown Greenville. We'll be back with your main forecast coming up in a few minutes. Kelsey?
Christy, thank you. Tonight in the men's tournament, 5-seed Miami will be playing top seed Houston at 7 o'clock. Then following 3-seed Xavier versus Texas. You can catch both of them right here on Channel 7. And tomorrow in the women's tournament here in Greenville, 3-seed Notre Dame is taking on 2-seed Maryland at 11:30. And later on, the defending national champ South Carolina Gamecocks are set to play UCLA at 2 o'clock. Both of those games will be on ESPN. Now on 7 News, the FAA is investigating an emergency plane landing in Greenville County. We're told the plane made the landing attempt last night around 6:30 near Highway 25 and Morgan Road. That's where the plane landed and then flipped over.
All we know is that they tried to land in the field. The nose of the plane hit the field. They just plowed the field, so there's kind of some bumps in the field because of that. And when the nose hit it, it flipped the plane over.
Emergency management says there were 2 people in the plane and luckily no one was hurt. They say the plane had just refueled at the Pickens County Airport and was heading towards Hendersonville. Glassy Mountain Fire District controlled the scene and deputies monitored the plane throughout the night. Happening now, a bill is moving through the South Carolina State House that supporters say would protect victims of human trafficking and domestic violence. Our Jason Raven explains.
The bill would establish an address confidentiality program here in South Carolina. Right now, the Palmetto State is one of a few states that does not have this in place. The program would allow victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, stalking, harassment, or sexual offenses to use a designated address on public documents rather than their actual residential address. This would also apply to their school or work addresses as well. The aim is to keep assailants from finding this information out. The program would be run through the State Attorney General's office. They would provide confidential mail forwarding services to the survivors. The bill's sponsor, Senator Katrina Shealy of Lexington County, says the goal is to keep these people protected.
I want victims of human trafficking to know that once, we've convicted this person or once we've caught them and you're feel safe, I want you to really feel safe, that they can't go on the internet or wherever in public records and look your name up.
The bill received a 41-0 vote for second reading in the Senate, is currently awaiting a third reading, and then will be sent to the House. In Columbia, Jason Raven, 7 News.
Officials say if created, the program would cost about $270,000 a year. Next on 7 News, a movement to limit social media in one state may soon spread to others. This TikTok faces threats of a nationwide ban. Plus, millions of Americans don't know they have diabetes. A new report shows the next step for getting a screening and why early diagnosis is key for prevention. But first, before we head into the break, here's a live look outside of the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. We will have much more March Madness coverage when we return.